What is going on, traders? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we'll talk about the biggest earnings in the season and, of course, some of the names we talked about, how have they performed, and what we can expect from them going forward. And now, of course, every day you should have a SPY, QQQ, the futures, and also the VIX on your chart. And it was FOMC. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. The market didn't know how to react to it. But of course, we didn't get the cut that we were hoping for. And as a result, home builder and some other interest rate sensitive sectors kind of showed some weakness during the session. Now with SPY, this is obviously still finding support way above 20 weekly moving average. This is absolutely not bad at all, right? But if we get down below 593, that's another story. But at the time of this recording, of course, we know that futures are up because Meta beat Microsoft not as much. Tesla was doing okay after hours. It dumped, but it picked. I think it went from down 5% to positive 5% in just 10 minutes. Somebody knew something or they disclosed something during their earnings call, but we'll have to check that out in a second. But yeah, ServiceNow was not as good, but it was not a bad day for earnings because we also knew that ASML beat pretty significantly, and of course, Lam Research also posted pretty good earnings as compared to what they did before. So now SPY, um, I'm seeing this gap getting filled today, and how we move after that is gonna matter because through here, all-time high is coming. We lose this level, then game over almost. But this is bullish. It's still pretty bullish in the market. I don't see any weakness, and today it was just a technical kind of profit taking. Very neutral from FOMC. So because the earnings were relatively better, so there is absolutely no sign of any correction or this is the end of the bull market right now. And of course, QQQ, not a lot to read right now. On 4 hours, you don't really see anything. 1 hour, we're obviously holding this low, and we are holding a higher low from here, right? We are in the expansion mode for hourly time frame. If you want to get down to 2 hours, yeah, still in the expansion. After such a run, we couldn't take it down any lower, and we obviously found support on this market bias. Take it higher from there, and very weak selling. All right, QQ, that looks very nice. Now, the futures at the time of this recording, of course, it is up 0.61%. And it was actually, not a very hard kind of setup because I actually entered some after hour trade after seeing Tesla went from negative to positive. And of course, Meta didn't have a large move, but it wasn't a miss and it wasn't going down after hour trading. So that was an extra comfort for me to be adding some shares in after hour trading for some names. Some semi names includes AMD. And also, I was looking at this futures chart. It was red and obviously higher highs and higher lows. And I guess ServiceNow didn't have much of an impact on the overall market, even though it was down like 10% after hour trading. Not that bad, I guess. So after seeing the futures, you could have kind of assumed that futures will be positive the next day, and you can enter some very nice positions in after hour trading if they're trading flat as they're not supposed to be, right? This is looking nice, higher highs and higher lows. 1 hour, of course, getting back to the expansion mode after a little bit of profit taking. And if you want to go over to 4 hours, this is absolutely screaming higher highs and higher lows from previously at 20,796. Now we're trying to hold a high, and we break out over here, we will be testing that resistance. So for the VIX, Yeah, we did take out the higher high. That is not the best sign, but of course, whenever we have this kind of surging out of nowhere on the VIX, it would just be compressing down for some period of time. Right now on 4 hour obviously doesn't look as good because we're holding this zone, but when the VIX starts trading in a few hours, I'm seeing this testing down to close the gap, and if we can take out 1460, that's amazing. I guess the pretty same story. Yeah, right? Down and down, and then VIX, this is lower high and lower low, and very bad wick. This is just gonna go down. That was a fake up, deep seek, whatever. And we are on our way to close below this low. And the market would just be very nice and, celebratory. I guess there's things to be celebrating about, but once we close below this low, we always have to kind of expect to have a little bit of rebound on the VIX, and then we just continue to crush afterwards. Then that would be your ultimate signal to, maybe max up your leverage, or, start adding position in some weaker names, because that would be the signal that, hey, there's no more fear in the market, and any capital on the sideline can be poured into the market. Want to talk about Costco and McDonald's. Of course, we talked about that a few days ago. Still going nice, still very nice, right? It was a gift to have such a gap down on Monday, and Costco, I took my profit. Um, yeah, probably shouldn't have. But this is still looking nice to me. I do see this making all-time high above $1,000 a share within the next 2 weeks. If you're looking at weekly, obviously we're still looking pretty nice, right? This is a series of higher highs and higher lows and defending the 20 weekly moving average, and we have done so in the past, maybe for at least a couple years, right? And this is a gift. Okay, you see this on Costco, very good risk reward. Just go in and maybe have your stop loss a little bit below the previous low, you know, in case of invalidation of a head and shoulder. Um, but yeah, your profit taking should be aiming at all-time high. There's no question about that. Also, just want to remind you, we are at the near the end of January, and of course, at the end of the month, you always want to check your monthly close, right? We're a couple of days away. The monthly close can be, well, not as good as we would hope, because we want to see higher highs and higher lows, or at least higher volume on the upside. So this is still to be monitored, but right now it is looking good. No sign of weakness, right? 4 hours, we're just holding higher low, and then test it down, still higher low, and make another higher high. A very nice 4 hour, and of course the volume is actually increasing as well. I guess thanks to FOMC. Yeah, so when you have these things and the volume is on the upside, that is really nice, right? Some consolidation, and then we broke out on 1 hour, and then we cool off a little bit, and this is, in my opinion, has way more room to go to the upside. So if you're looking at daily and you want to compare that to McDonald's, also being one of the major names in the Dow, right? This is higher highs and higher lows, but the volume was not quite that enough for me to, be adding additional position over here, because we're now way above all the moving averages. If we can cool off to potentially retest, I don't see that happening because futures are up. I don't think there's any weakness that's gonna be that big. That will be enough to push the stock down to 20 days moving average. But 950 would be a pretty nice zone to add some shares to Costco. Now, if you're looking over to McDonald's, now the same story. Obviously, we didn't have the kind of weekly close. You know, this was indecision and then up very nicely. It looks like we found support on 50-week moving average, but the volume was not showing it, right? This is not as good as Costco, just because after we had a little bit of profit taking, we could not hold it here. Unlike Costco, just made another higher high compared to the previous candle. This is not. This is sitting right at this Fibonacci level. If we fill the 20 days moving average, I don't think this thing is gonna do what we were hoping it to do, right? So keep an eye out. McDonald's not as good, but still expanding on the daily. So still too early to consider getting out of the position. But 4 hours definitely not looking good, right? The selling is just way bigger than all the other Dow names, including Costco. This is high. This is a lower high. This is testing down this moving average without any support, not even a wick, no bid, not looking as good to me, but Costco definitely a better one out of the uh, the Dow names. If you want to reduce your exposure to technology, if you want to be more defensive, I guess Costco is going to be your pick. Now, of course, we know the earnings are looking great, but some cause for concern for home builders, right? This was not even as strong as McDonald's during the first 4 hours, and it's a very bad sell, right? And we're sitting right on this Fibonacci and also this moving average. Yeah, it was home builders didn't like the announcement that there's no red cut, but we're still in the expansion mode. Of course, we can see that we're still trading way above all the moving averages. But if you want to play like Lowe's or Home Depot, it is not looking as good as some other names, but still holding pretty well. Is it a sweet zone to add some positions into these names? It can be, but we'll continue to monitor these. Right, this is after that CPI gap. We're just expanding. Right now, we don't know whether we can hit another high, or we may have a little bit cool off. But I think as long as we're holding 100 days moving average, we're doing okay. You guys know how bullish I've been on Palantir. Absolutely monster trade, right? After such a dip, we just came straight back up, right? And then we went down to test 20 days moving average. So, however strong a name might seem, always be patient, right? If you miss the run, you miss the run. If we can have a retest, beautiful. Don't hesitate. All right, higher highs and higher lows, and this is pretty good. Um, kind of doji, of course, volume on the decline side as well. And if you wanna actually made a day trade on this, but I got out. And the reason I got out was because we're obviously testing this resistance, right? If we breaking out about $80.81, this thing's gonna go higher, all-time high even before earnings. But hourly, this is still looking very nice to me, right? FOMC, some technical kind of strength went through, we bought it, and of course, we know that the last half an hour we were selling a little bit. You also see that last hour was just kind of like accompanied by a red candle for all the names. So, if we lose this 20-hour moving average, wouldn't be nice. I don't think that's going to happen. We'll just find support, maybe another support around $81 and going fine from there, right? There's no weakness in technology right now. Even if there was, and there was, this name is still holding relatively well. Snowflake, we've been talking about Snowflake for the last 3 weeks. I'm no longer in the trade. If you are, congrats to you, right? We have taken out that high. Want to see a little bit of cooling off. I don't see 20 days moving average being tested, but of course, ServiceNow is pretty bad. Like Palo Alto and all these names can have a little bit of pullback, and if it does, this name potentially can be testing down to this Fibonacci, and I don't think it will test the 20 days moving average. So if we can even get as low as 172.50, right? That would be a pretty sweet zone for you to add. Right now, Snowflake, obviously, when you see these kind of big players coming into the market, they're not there for day trading, okay? They're there for swing trading. They are taking profit partially. They're not getting out of their position entirely. So, when you see this kind of big money coming in, expect that to remain for a few days, right? The party is not only there for a day, it can continue to go on and on and on, right? Just like CPI print pretty nice, the market will not rip for just one day. It will continue to do so for a few days, right? Because market is sometimes indecisive, you need to give it time to digest the information put in front of them. So never just jump the gun or hesitate too much when you see this kind of big money coming in. That's your signal to go long on this market, right? If we can test down to this 4 hour moving average $176, pretty sweet, right? If we want to check, obviously, already higher highs and higher lows with higher volume on the weekly, I I I don't see anything that's intimidating with this name. Monthly, obviously higher highs and higher lows already in the next couple of days. If we can take the volume higher, guess what? I do see this name potentially. I guess it will have to be after earnings, taking out $237 if the earnings are good, having good reaction to it. Then yeah, Snowflake definitely want to be put on your watch list. All right, guys, and that is all. And once again, this is not any financial advice. You're trading on your own risk. I'm just providing you with what I'm seeing in the market. Please make sure you do whatever feels comfortable and always be controlling your risk. And as always, if you're enjoying the channel so far, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel because every day we have all these information that's going to help you to improve your trading and always be making informed decisions and never kind of imagine things. Always look at all these charts, the VIX, QQQ, SPY, and be checking all this time frame. Keep it a habit at the end of the week. Check your weekly close at the end of the month. Check your monthly close. And I hope these things do help you with your trading. And pretty exciting day today after all the earnings. We'll see how that goes. And check back with you tomorrow. Until then, happy trading. Bye for now.